Today I'm going to be talking about interviews. So, a lot of people ask me, Shoma, what are some basic tips or basic things I can do to come across well in an interview? So, the first thing I would say is be yourself. And how do you know that you're being yourself in an interview? Talk to the interviewer, not as a friend, obviously, you want to keep it professional, but talk to the interviewer as though you already know them a little bit. Talk to them in a way that you would talk to another professional colleague of yours or somebody that you've known for years. Be formal, but also be relaxed, because sometimes if you are more relaxed, you are more yourself. If you go in straight into the interview and you have this nervous disposition about you and you're already kind of like panicking and wavering, obviously you're going to have the natural nerves going on, the adrenaline. That's fine. And the interviewer or interviewers, they will know that you're a little bit nervous and they will sense that and they'll pick up on that. And if you say that, you need more time to answer a question, then do that. Be natural. But don't in any shape or form overdo your behaviour or become really, really timid. Just be yourself is the first thing. The second thing is take your time. I know a lot of people, and I've heard a lot of stories from people I have helped and people who are my friends and family, where they've gone into an interview, they have a question of an answer memorised, and they keep on rotating it in their head, and then they ask the question, and then their mind goes blank. Right? And they're just like, oh no, what do I do? Absorb everything that's going on to you. The interviewers will take it at a steady pace. They're not trying to rush you through, a kind of great big queue of let's get this done quickly. Take the time to answer the questions properly. And remember what I said about taking a break. If you're unsure about a question, or if you don't know the context of what the question is that's being asked, ask them back. Say to them, okay, can you repeat that again? And then to get more clearer, just answer back to them, okay, so if you want me to answer that question, do you mean in an environment where I would be managing or in an environment where I would be doing such and such, depending on the role? Make sure that you understand the question. There have been incidents where I have heard people telling me that sometimes because they've had a double-barreled question with two questions rolled into one, they have misunderstood the question, and that has resulted in them, even though they gave a good interview, not necessarily getting the job. So make sure that you're clear about the question and that you take your time and you're not rushing, because most good interviews should at least be between 45 minutes to 50 minutes, depending on the number of questions and depending on, what you're saying to them. You don't want to obviously talk too much, but you want to be talking in a way where you explain yourself fully and you get a chance to come across in a way which is going to impress the people who potentially could be your bosses. The next thing I would say in terms of being a good interviewee is make sure you have questions at the end of the interview that you want to ask them. The worst thing that you could possibly do is to go in for an interview and the interview go brilliantly well and you not have any questions prepared for them, because this will form an impression of you straight away. If you really, really want that job and you know that that job is the job that you were born for, that job is the job that you want, if you then don't have any questions that you want to ask them, they could think, okay, hang on a second, how much does this person really want this? So have questions and make sure the questions are sensible. Don't ask silly questions about your salary or about your holidays or about things which are not really essential to the job. Ask things which are going to be sensible. Things like, okay, so suppose if it's an interview for an educational role and it's a teaching role. If you're going to be asking questions like, okay, so if I'm going to be teaching as a primary school teacher, what predominantly are going to be the year groups that you're looking for if the year group hasn't been advertised in the advert? Ask them those kind of questions. Ask them things which are sensible and which are orientated in a way which will show that you care and show that you want the job. And last but not least, I would say after the questions, just make sure that if you have the time, and this isn't always essential, but some people advise maybe do a follow up, send a follow up email, say it was a real pleasure being interviewed by you. I wish you luck with the job process and whoever you feel is the right candidate, and thank you for taking the time to see me. So, those are my tips on interviews. I hope that helps and I hope it's useful. And for anyone out there who's interviewing right now, I wish you all the best. Bye.